What's going on, everyone? And I hope you're having a good day. Today, this is my journal, and today is like the most I've made on this account so far. I made about, right here it says about 400, but that's because the daytime, according to the time zone that this broker uses, is different. But I made $242 in the morning, and then now 400 at Asian session, so which is tonight. And if you combine that all together, you get about $650-ish that I made today, and that's over 1%. So I'm really like proud of that. And also because I told myself that I was going to only follow my plan because of what happened yesterday. I'm not going to let yesterday repeat. And if you don't believe me that I made the extra 250 just because it doesn't says it here, you could just check my account balance right now and compare it to what it was last video, which was yesterday, and you'll see that the difference is about $650. All right, so now let me get into all the trades. And I caught this awesome trade literally just now, about like 20-30 minutes ago, and I'm gonna show you exactly how I did it. Let's get right into it. Also, I forgot to mention that I didn't trade AM session today because I was at the airport picking up my grandma, so I couldn't really trade. The internet there was bad, and also I wasn't really on my phone because I had important stuff to do. So I only traded PM session and then Asian session by making this much money. So I have no trades in the morning at all. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna really quickly do is mark out the market open so you have an idea of what I'm talking about. And market open at 9:30, which is right here. And now let's go on the 4-hour to determine my daily buys, what I was longs or shorts. Because I saw this liquidity sweep right here, this high is the liquidity, and the 4-hour did not want to close above it. My initial bias was shorts, and my bias was incorrect because I see my mistake, which was that the hourly was still in a very strong uptrend and they had no reason to break structure to the downside at all. And it was also respecting this order block right here perfectly. It respected this order block, and there was no break structure to the downside, so I really should not have been shorts, just assuming that we were going to go down because of how the 4-hour was reacting without any confirmation. So that was my bad on that, but I understand my mistake, so it's all good. But anyways, now let's get into the trades and why I took them. All right, so firstly, as soon as market opened, we dumped like crazy, as you can see, and then that was followed by consolidation. This consolidation was mostly because we had FOMC at 2 o'clock today, 2 p.m. And before FOMC or any big news event, we usually have consolidation, and that's the reason for that. So I drew out a range, and of course I traded during this consolidation, and I lost one and I won one, but I'll show you why. I drew out this range, and the first trade was taken because we had already went to the equilibrium and started going down, and we tapped it again to the second time and started going down. And by this time I kind of knew we were consolidating, so I waited until this little liquidity sweep on the 5-minute happened. This liquidity got swept. I'm going to mark it out black so you understand it better. That liquidity, as you can see, got swept right here. Then I went down to the 1 minute. This is what we look like on the 1 minute, and my initial thing was that we disrespected this bullish fair value gap, creating an inverse fair value gap. So I was waiting for retracement into this fair value gap, but as you can see, that happened after I had already lost the trade. So instead, what I did, which is kind of dumb, was I was trying to just catch the trend, which is not a good thing to do. I looked at the most recent inverse bullish fair value gap that we had right here, waited for a tap in, which happened right here, and a reaction off of it, which happened right here. I entered shorts right over here, so my shorts was right there, and I put my stop loss above, like gave it a little bit of room above this. And as you can see, we got stopped out on this candle right here, and my take profit actually almost got hit. My take profit was this liquidity right here. I wanted to make it that, but unfortunately we did get stopped out on this trade. But this is totally fine because I did follow my plan, and it wasn't just an impulsive trade that I wanted to take just because of feelings and emotions. So I'm completely fine with that loss. So now let's move on to the next trade. With the next trade, what happened was we had just tapped into the equilibrium again, and I thought we would see a reaction off of it. And since this trade, what I learned was we did not tap into equilibrium. All we did was sweep liquidity and then disrespect the bullish fair value gap. That was a pretty good confirmation, but I thought that since we're in a consolidation, it might want to go to the equilibrium where the consolidation starts and then go down. That's why I actually took this trade within consolidation, or I would never have taken a trade in consolidation. So then I went to the 1 minute. On the 1 minute, this is what it looks like. This is the equilibrium point, and this is where we touched the equilibrium. and we showed a pretty strong reaction off of it. First of all, we got a break of structure right here. I don't really use break of structures in my 1 minute scalps because I just use disrespects of fair value gaps instead, but I'm just showing you all the confluences that are here. We had this, and then we also had a fair value gap right here, a bearish fair value gap that we had an entry into. And on top of all of that, we also had a inverse bullish fair value gap, as you can see right there. After price disrespected this fair value gap right here, it went into the inverse, gave me a strong reaction down. I entered at the start of this candle, or actually at the start of this candle, when this candle closed, because that showed me good confirmation. And my stop was above this high. Oh my God, I don't know why my stop is so high. I have to drag it all the way down. My stop was above this high right there, this high. Because again, if the market wants to go down, it's not going to try to reach for another 1 minute high for no reason if it's going down, right? Because that would create a higher high, not a lower high. And in a downtrend, we're looking for a lower high. So I enter the trade right there, and my take profit, I need to start setting more than one TP because this should just dump down. And I actually, on one of these trades, I did set more than one TP, and you'll find out soon. My take profit was this like little liquidity right here. I'll mark it out for you. Boom. And we hit that trade 1 to 0.62, and we won the trade. Now let's move on to the next trade. After this trade, I was up on the day about $62, I believe, if I remember correctly. And that's including the loss and the win both. So now let's get into the next trade. So as you could tell, this right here is where FOMC happened at 2 o'clock. This was a huge candlestick compared to the rest of this price action. So I waited and I caught this trade right here on the 1 minute. I saw that we were going up, and we had also reacted well off of a 5 minute fair value gap. As you could tell right here, there's a fair value gap right here on the 5 minute. We went into it and we showed a very strong reaction to the upside on the 1 minute. This is what the fair value gap looks like on the 1 minute and the price action. As you can see, we had a break of structure right here to the upside on the 1 minute. And we also had this inverse fair value gap that got, the bearish fair value gap that got disrespected, which shows us more bullish signs. And then what I did was look at this order block that was being respected right here. That's an order block. And as soon as we tapped into the order block, I saw this strong reaction up to the upside. So I entered a short position right there, and my stop loss was right here, and my take profit, I was over risked in this trade, so I quickly got out right there. And it's not the best, but it's also not the worst. RR 0.55 is not too bad. So that's how I won that trade. And now let's get into the next trade. So this next trade was a PM session trade, and what I saw was that we had just been going up for a while. As you can see, we had just kept going up. So I thought I could catch a quick little scalp off of this little 5 minute fair value gap right here. As you can see, there's a 5 minute bullish fair value gap right here. And so I decided to long it. So I went on the 1 minute, and I saw any confluences that would help me to long it. And it was perfect because I saw this bearish fair value gap getting disrespected, which created an inverse fair value gap that price tapped into right over here on this bearish candle. Then we saw a reaction. I don't really consider that a reaction because, as you can see, the wick is literally mostly going downwards. This will be considered a reaction, but still not a strong enough reaction. But right here, when it goes above the fair value gap, that I considered enough of a reaction. So I entered it right at the close of that candle. My stop loss was at this low, and my take profit was at this liquidity right there, at that green line that I drew out. And we hit that trade in about 2 minutes perfectly. And I was in this for 2 contracts because I knew that the volatility wasn't going to be there, so it wasn't going to be a big move up or down. So I would need to risk a little bit more to gain the same amount of money that I usually would risk on a regular trade in the AM session. Alright, so this next trade was my last and my best trade that I took all day. So let's check this trade out. So this trade I shorted because when I went to the 1 hour, I saw that we were within a fair value gap, an hourly fair value gap. If I go on the left, you can see here. 1 second, I'll mark it out for you. So we are within that hourly fair value gap. And on the 5 minute, I go down and I see in real time that we break structure to the downside. So for me, market is literally telling me that we're going to be going down for a little bit now. It broke structures to the downside right there. So I switched my bias to bearish. As you can see, that red line indicates the break of structure right there. So what I did was I saw that this bullish fair value gap that we used to catch this long was now an inverse fair value gap because it had gotten disrespected with this candle. And then with this candle, we went back into it after breaking structure. So I was like, okay, let me look on the 1 minute and see what's going on. On the 1 minute, what happened was as soon as it tapped in, we had this bullish fair value gap get disrespected right here. And also this bearish fair value gap form right here. So I was waiting for it to tap into that and seeing a reaction off of it. What did we do? We tapped into this inverse and the bearish fair value gap on this blue candle right here. And then we showed a pretty strong reaction down. So I meant to enter here, but by the time I had entered, price was already like halfway through this blue candle. But it filled me in like right there because the fills are bad for some reason. So I'm just gonna mark it out as that. And then my stop loss was this high right here. And my take profit, I said 2 take profits here because I was using 2 contract sizes. This was the first take profit, and then this was the second take profit. I actually have a video of me and my cousins who know nothing about trading just like fooling around with emotions. I was just messing with them on purpose. I might put the clip up here. It's kind of funny. But oh my god, come on, please hit it. You're right there.
Oh yeah,
You're right there. You're right there.
Boy.
Hit it.
I love it.
No.
Hit the thing.
Hit it.
Yo, don't go down there. I'm a mama, bro.
Bro, this is actually scamming me right now.
You're not.
Yo, come on, hit that shit.
Bro, it's right there.
Come on. Hey, let's go. So we are on. But yeah, both of those take profits just got absolutely smashed, as you can see. And it was on. We did consolidate for a hot minute right here, which was a little bit annoying. But at the end, that move was smooth as hell, and we hit both take profits. And I made about 400 trading the Asian session, and then about 262 trading the New York session. So I hope this helped you out a lot. I know this is a little bit of a longer video because I did have a lot to cover. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments below, and see you.